a mini victory here for a Dr. Dixon, a junior medical doctor who was basically placed on interdiction for running in the September 3rd, 2025 general election.
In terms of emergency evacuation and shelter, housing of these persons, we have not seen any of those tents that are supposedly in the country that should be made available. I'm told that it was said in the Senate on Friday that tents went to Dayton Campbell, unless there is another Dayton Campbell that represents somewhere in Jamaica. It's certainly not this one.
Blessings, ABR family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Isabel Rose. And in this one, major update. RJ Dixon can resume work as a medical doctor due to the Constitutional Court halting his interdiction based on him filing challenging the constitutionality of the regional authority in interdicting him. As well as Member of Parliament Dr. Dayton Campbell clears the air on hurricane relief. Stay tuned for the details at hand. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, ABR family and viewers, a quick update. A mini victory here for a Dr. Dixon, a junior medical doctor who was basically placed on interdiction for running in the September 3rd, 2025 general election by the Southern Regional Health Authority board, which they says allegedly has mostly Jamaica Labour Party affiliates on. He was basically interdicted on September 16th and prevented from working since September 17, 2025. He argued that the section of the staff order used to trigger the interdiction is inconsistent with the Charter of Rights. And we also heard from a long-standing expert in the whole tribunal, Senator Lambert Brown, basically pointing out the same, that the staff order with them use to interdict him is null and void. Basically don't go for him. You understand? Because he was basically employed under the regional health authority and not under a public sector staff order. Justice Tricia Hutchinson Shelley has basically granted an injunction halting the interdiction and disciplinary proceedings against Dr. Dixon until his case is heard. So all of that took place this morning at one of those hearings. And so with the interdiction pause, Dr. RJ Dixon can resume his duty as a doctor at the institution where he was working prior to. The Constitution guarantees the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and belief, the observance of political doctrines, as well as the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. So right there and then, Dr. RJ Dixon has a very strong case. And we are awaiting to hear, some of those, outcomes for others who have been wrongfully interdicted because, political people are hurt and they want to use politics to abuse their power and to come against some while others gets away. What says you, ABR family, about all of this so far? Remember to leave a like on the video, and for those who want to support in helping others to, fix their roofs that have been completely blown off through Hurricane Melissa, can feel free to do so through my Zelle with my email. I will pin it in the video right here, and it will also be in the comment section. Now, questions surrounding the aid from Japan in the whole aftermath post Hurricane Melissa relief and recovery effort has been making its rounds on social media. Many are questioning where is this aid in particular. Some 1,400 sleeping bags, 350 tents, and other commodities.
Supplies today include various commodities consisting of 1,400 sleeping bags, 350 tents, 350 portable jerry cans, and 20 water purifiers to support the communities and people that have been most affected by Hurricane Melissa.
Where are those relief aid? The people of Jamaica would love to know. Dayton Campbell also revealed that, some argument about him receiving tens in the Senate last week is far from the truth. And through a press conference by the opposition, which Dr. Campbell was a part of, who is also the Member of Parliament for Eastern Westmoreland, basically cleared the air. He basically wanted to let them know so they must not mix up the original. Dr. Campbell is no thief. Dr. Campbell is not a liar. Check this out.
Had it not been for some of these groups, I don't know what would have happened to the residents of Eastern Westmoreland, because they have stepped in a big way to ensure that some of the things that are needed have been done thus far. We benefited from a visit of some of the CARICOM leaders, and President Ali out of Guyana committed to doing 200 roofs for some of the affected residents between Bluefields and White House. And in putting together the meeting to that, when the JDF and Ministry of Labour and ODPEN called the meeting, they said they wanted to welcome the two members of parliament, in which the government is inserting their political operatives in the response mechanism and bypassing, circumventing the elected officials. I represent all of the constituents of Eastern Westmoreland. I have absolutely no interest in how they voted. This is a humanitarian crisis. It is not a political matter. And as elected officials, we have to be involved and consulted in the process, because we know the communities, we know the areas, we know the people. Even in relation to the distribution of aid, to just have the JDF alone going into a community is not sufficient, because they won't know the lay of the land, they won't know the residents, and as such, that has left a lot of gaps. So I want to point out specifically some things now. Shelter. The shelters that are in the constituency, they have been inappropriate from the beginning, and they continue to be inappropriate. There isn't a bed or a cot or anything in any of the shelters. To be frank, there are persons that are not even aware that some of the shelters are still open with over 20 persons in each one of them. And that means if you're not aware, you couldn't possibly be making any provisions for the residents within those shelters. The persons who are in the shelters are obviously the most vulnerable. They don't have anywhere to stay, they don't have any relatives to stay with, and that's the reason why they're at the shelter. And I realize that the Ministry of Education has also taken on an initiative to reopen schools as soon as possible, which I support, because we want to decrease the learning loss. But in moving the persons from these shelters, majority of which are schools, so that school can reopen, certainly we can't just move them without making provision for them to stay elsewhere. In terms of emergency evacuation and shelter, housing of these persons, we have not seen any of those tents that are supposedly in the country that should be made available. I'm told that it was said in the Senate on Friday that tents went to Dayton Campbell, unless there is another Dayton Campbell that represents somewhere in Jamaica. It's certainly not this one. I have not been made aware of any tents. And I want to be on record as saying, I will never support moving out the persons out of the shelter unless we make provision for them. I will block it myself personally. That is inhumane, and we have to do better. So yes, we want the schools to open, but we must make adequate provision before we move the persons out of the shelters. We have, in looking at how we respond to the housing crisis, there are still persons that are under tarpaulin, still persons that are under a sheet of zinc. You still see mothers and children just under a sheet of zinc or under a piece of tarpaulin, right? There are still houses without tarpaulin that are yet to be covered. I have so far been told of allocations to the constituency, $3 million for cleaning in the prep work before the hurricane came. And that is after we made advocacy for some allocation, because initially we were told that Western Jamaica is not a priority and there was no allocation. Then there was an allocation of $1.5 million, and that was made twice. So that's another $3 million. That was to get care packages and tarpaulins. Now, if you get a care package and you put $5,000 worth of supplies in it, that would only get you 600 care packages for a constituency with over 40,000 persons. Then there's an allocation of $10 million for housing. And I've said it elsewhere that the Welcome to Montego Bay sign is $17 million. And we are given an allocation of $10 million in a constituency where 5,000 homes were totally destroyed.
All they need to do, Jamaica, is to get the whole relief process in order. Coordinate better. Have the independent bodies work as independent bodies and stop having their ministers and MP and their caretaker take over the relief process and not want to include anyone else. That's the bottom line right there. A word to the government. Lego the whole heap of PR. Please create something quick and fast where accountability can be held and transparency can be shown. We're tired of the whole heap of lies. Cut it out. Cut it out right now. The people needs help. Stop putting the assistance and the aid out there based on political, affiliations. Uno say the general election has been completed, finished since September 3rd. Act like it. Put out the aid to the people. Whether they support PNP or JLP, stop the madness right now. What says you, ABR family and viewers, about everything that was outlined in this video? Mini victory right there for RJ Dixon. He is to resume work until his case has been completed. Then they will have the final argument on his whole interdiction. Drop your comments in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel on the road to 50K. Help me to get there. Please and thanks. Play your part. Support the movement. Please stay tuned for more videos. Stay tuned for more updates. Big up on yourself. Happy Tuesday.